Yes, we and our 3 children loved living in China and in the Uyghur region in northwest China. And the Uyghur people, just to let you know, in case you don't, is the Eastern Turkish ethnicity, and they number over 11 million. We were there to see the lead up and the first years of the genocide.
Genocide is a process, not a single event. A key feature of the genocidal process is that it is not only a systematic, but also a patterned form of attack on a group. People's real and perceived positions in the target society are instrumentalized by perpetrators to cause maximal and lasting physical and psychic damage to group members and to institutions of group cohesion, especially the family unit. Dr. Joden, 4G 2019.
In the early stages, we saw increased restrictions, security checkpoints between cities, razor wire on walls, convenience police stations set up at every major intersection.
We saw airport-level security installed at all stores, parks, and restaurants, with Uyghurs getting extra scrutiny.
We saw the village streets becoming emptier and emptier as 2017 moved along. People taken away or afraid to be noticed.
Eventually, very few households still had all of their family members at home. Some were taken to the camps, others were required to rotate among the village homes, teaching the new restrictions and watching on their fellow Uyghurs.
Beards, prayer mats, and religious ceremonies became very suspect.
Skirt length and headscarves were scrutinized. In some areas, households were required to buy couches instead of using their traditional floor mats.
We saw security checkpoints now coming in between villages. For myself, driving to work took longer as there were sometimes several roadblocks and police checks. Facial recognition and definition cameras were now more pervasive.
Our son's teenage friends were afraid to turn 18, as it meant they would also face the threat of being taken.
We saw megaphones and speakers installed on every street so you cannot escape the blaring sounds and anthems of how to behave.
Women who had never cut their hair since childhood had to keep their heads bare at the weekly public meetings. They stood there with their hands covering their faces in shame and eventually cut their hair off to comply.
Use of electricity and gas was monitored. I could no longer buy gas for my van without borrowing a local ID card from someone, which then became risky to that person, as no one wanted the follow-up police call for buying too much gas.
Walking the streets, there was a strange forced calm. The police on the corners and the shop owners along the streets regularly practiced drills as though a terrorist attack could happen at any moment. Pedestrians suppressed all emotion to avoid any unwanted attention.
One day, as I was going by a market gate, I saw an older man, not allowed in. In frustration, he pushed someone. A signal was given, and within seconds, guards and police vans rushed to the scene and surrounded him.
6 a.m. morning calls began on the suburban village streets near where we lived. Police would blow their whistles, and within minutes, everyone had to arrive for their picture. They would all be asked, "Are you happy? How is your marriage? Is everyone home and happy?"
We saw a re-education camp just down the street from our home being built and set up. We knew this was not a happy time.